Happy Tuesday. Happy day after Christmas, everybody. I hope you guys had a fantabulous Christmas, enjoyed your friends and family. I had a good Christmas. But that's not what I'm on here live today to talk about. I want to talk to you guys about a question or two questions rather that I have received repeatedly on YouTube and also as a direct message on LinkedIn and on Facebook, as well as a few emails. So, with this question, I also want to explain something because some people, when I answer things like this, they're like, well, why are you taking the time to answer those types of questions? The whole purpose of these live streams that I do on Tuesday are to provide something that I felt that I did not have as an enrolled agent, right? So even though I knew the answer to this question, if I was brand spanking new, interested in this designation, I had no accounting background, no tax background, I would have wanted a reliable resource where I could go find the answer to these questions, right? So, the whole intent behind this, because you guys know my personal mission is to fill the tax literacy gap one taxpayer at a time, is to be that person for enrolled agents and aspiring enrolled agents to help push them towards the goals that they've set in being an enrolled agent, right? So today we're going to talk about, do I need an accounting degree, not agree. Do I need an accounting degree to become an enrolled agent? And then the follow-up question, will an accounting degree help me along in my path of being an enrolled agent? Just in case you are new to me, I'm going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Timalyn Bowens, and I am America's favorite EA. As an enrolled agent, I am licensed through the Internal Revenue Service to represent taxpayers in all 50 states in any type of IRS court, all right, or office. I'm also the owner of Bowens Tax Solutions, which I don't talk about much on here, but Bowens Tax Solutions is a virtual firm based in Louisville, Kentucky, and we specialize in helping taxpayers that are facing issues with IRS, specifically those that owe at least $100,000 or more, or they are actively being levied or audited. All right. Now, before I go any further, it looks like I'm getting ready to lose my camera, so let me just adjust that. All right. So, as you guys are hopping on, because I know I did not create an event the night before, I only sent out one invite actually because somebody recently asked me the question over the weekend. So I wanted to make sure they were here. So if you're catching this on the replay because you didn't get a notification, my apologies. Just hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here. But I'm going to dive deep into this because I'm sure you guys got stuff that you need to do on today, whether it's returning items, spending time with family. um, I won't be here long unless you guys hop on with questions, all right? So, first things first, if you were coming across this video because you were interested in becoming a tax professional and you don't even know what the enrolled agent designation is, the enrolled agent license is something that comes through the Internal Revenue Service, all right? Not the state, similar to a CPA license. And it is the highest credential that the IRS awards a taxpayer. All right. So an enrolled agent can do tax preparation, but they can also do tax planning. And what makes us different from other non credential tax preparers is that we can do tax representation. So, what that is that stepping into the shoes of the taxpayer to handle their IRS issue for them. So, I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I do in my firm with representation is I set up and negotiate tax debt for taxpayers that owe $100,000 or more. In that situation, because I am their tax representative, instead of them preparing the arrangement, instead of them getting on the phone and calling the IRS, I do all of that on their behalf. Same thing if they're being levied. I call the IRS, I handle that. They're being audited. We partner. I tell them what to say and what not to say in situations where they do have to speak, but I am their representative to handle that. All right. So that's what an enrolled agent is, if you didn't know before. So, with that being said, when I went to college. I went to Bellarmine University and I was pursuing my accounting degree, a lot of people assumed that I was going to go into tax. Even when I first started to pursue that degree and I knew that's what I wanted to do, I did not think that I wanted to do tax, didn't want anything to do with tax. So it was very funny to me that people automatically assumed that. I give you that background because I understand the confusion with the question. To become an enrolled agent, you do not have to have an accounting degree. Okay. As a matter of fact, to become an enrolled agent, you don't have to have a college degree at all. The barrier of entry to become an enrolled agent is lower than that of someone who is to be a certified public accountant or CPA. Because with that, depending on the state, not only do they have to have a college degree, I believe it has to be accounting or finance, but they also, here in Kentucky, we had to have 150 credit hours, right? And then there's a certain amount of experience that you also have to have. So being an enrolled agent, you have to take the special enrollment exam. I will link in the comments. I did a video on how to become an enrolled agent where I talk more in depth about that. But an accounting degree, a college degree, they are not necessary to become an enrolled agent. However, when we look at the special enrollment exam, which is the exam that enrolled agents have to take, the whole exam is specializing in tax, right? So that is one of the differentiations other than the test length and everything. When we're looking at the CPA exam, we have 4 parts. Not even one entire part of the CPA exam covers tax. So that's something as well that people who are looking at different designations, looking to hire someone, they assume that their CPA knows everything about tax, and that is an assumption. They can specialize in tax and do that. However, their testing requirements do not make them specialize in tax. All right. So don't don't say that I'm bashing anybody because yes, they very well can specialize in tax if they desire to. And I believe I have a lot of CPA friends that do their due diligence to be the best that they can be in the tax world, but it is not a requirement. Whereas with the EA exam, it is a requirement that you study these different things within the tax law, that you become proficient enough in them to pass an exam. All right. So we got question one out of the way. We do not need an accounting degree to become an enrolled agent. The follow up question to that, though, is will an accounting degree help me in being an enrolled agent? And quite honestly, my initial response that I have when I see this question is yes. But then when I pull back and I think about it, I'm going to say it depends. All right. And nobody come for me if you're an enrolled agent with an accounting degree. But this is why I say that. All right. So if we look at our individual 1040s, those do not require any type of accounting background, right? We are just reporting the information that the taxpayer receives that is reflective of what happened for their income throughout the year. So we're going to put in their W 2 information that shows how much money they made throughout the year, right? Any type of rental income, those things don't require an accounting degree. However, once we get over into business tax returns, so even if we're not looking at a corporation or we're looking at a nonprofit, not for profit, if we're looking at a partnership, those things may not necessarily require an accounting degree, but furthering your education in accounting and understanding how accounting works will be very beneficial to you if you plan on doing any type of business tax returns. Or even if you plan on doing 1040s, but you have people that have rental income, or if they have a Schedule C, which is business income, right? Or a Schedule F or farm income. The reason that I say that it will help you, although it's not required, is because when you're working with somebody's business financials, you need to understand how an income statement works, right? You need to understand how a balance sheet works. If you're not familiar with those terms, they are financial statements that show the income and expenses throughout the year. That is what your income statement is, also known as a profit and loss sheet, right? You need to understand how the balance sheet works because that's going to tell the story of the assets, the liabilities, which are going to be the different loans and things that the business owes, as well as the equity to show how much skin does this taxpayer actually have in the game. You need to understand how those work, not just for your own sake and to be able to help your client, to help them with planning and everything, but those things have to be reported on a business tax return, right? So if we're looking at a partnership or a corporation, we're looking at Schedule L. That is the balance sheet. You can completely jack up somebody's life if you don't know how a balance sheet works and you report the wrong information on there. All right. Then we have our Schedule M2. So we have the reconciliation of the capital accounts. Now, when I talk about capital on the tax return, that is going to show the equity that the different partners or shareholders, whatever type of return we're looking at, the owners, we're looking at their equity. We're looking at how much they have. We're looking at how much they've drawn out. If you don't have an accounting background, you are going to be more harmful than helpful because you don't know how to report that information and you don't know how to translate it for your clients. So, again, you can completely mess up somebody's life if you don't understand how these work. Now, for me personally, before I became an enrolled agent, I had already gone to college. I already had a degree in accounting. And not looking down on anybody, when I first stepped out on my own, so you all know I had the 3 seasons with Crow Horwath. They are a public accounting firm. You can still look them up now. When I stepped out on my own, I didn't understand some of the questions that I was receiving from fellow taxpayers that also had their own business that wanted to know different things about the balance sheet, or they would ask for help with a return and the balance sheet didn't balance. What I came to realize is that I was leaps and bounds ahead of these people in understanding how the tax return worked. One, because I did have a very good experience with the firm that I worked with, right? So I had that hands on experience, which I encourage everybody to do if they can, to work under somebody, to work through those mistakes and those learning curves, right? But in addition to that, I have an accounting degree, so I understood the language that was on the tax returns for businesses, even if it's something that I didn't get a lot of hands on experience with. So, in my personal opinion, getting an accounting degree, while not necessary, it most definitely will help you to be of more service to your clients. Now, do you have to go back and get a full 4-year degree? Absolutely not. Something that you could take into consideration is if you have a JUCO in your area, technical school, getting that accounting certificate. If you have with SBA or I don't know, somebody like me that likes to nerd out on accounting, right? There are different courses and classes that you can take that will help you get that basic accounting information. So, like I said, you'll have the opportunity to actually do business returns and know what you're doing, right? Because there's a huge learning curve there, but you can make sure that you're doing your due diligence to help your clients to the best of your ability if you do enhance your education and get that accounting knowledge. Again, enhancing your education does not necessarily mean getting a college degree. It means you go up and you read on accounting. Maybe, like I said, you find somebody like me who, no, I'm not teaching college courses, but I'm teaching how to do things um, around the EA designation. So for you, going to find that accounting one-on-one class, getting the information that you need, and then taking that. And I promise you, after actually taking some type of accounting class, once you look at the 1120, the 1065, those forms, like I said, the Schedule L, the M2, those things are going to make sense because you have that basic accounting information and knowledge now. So I'm about wrapped up. I see you guys joining now. If you have any questions pertaining to today's topic, if you just want to hop in and say hello, go ahead and do that in the comments. I will check over here with LinkedIn really quick. So let me see where my people are at. I'm not on YouTube today. I'm only on LinkedIn and Facebook. So, and I do apologize again, you guys. I spoke with LinkedIn, I spoke with StreamYard. They said they were going to fix whatever is going on right now. I haven't seen them fix it yet because I can see here I have a comment on LinkedIn, which I'm going to read here in a minute, but it's still not popping up on my main screen. So I apologize, LinkedIn. I am not ignoring you. I just forget to look at the other screen sometimes. So whoever my couple of people are on Facebook, if you don't have any questions, um, just drop down the comments and say no questions, say hey, Merry Christmas, whatever you want to say. Just let me know you're here. So I think it's Pavan. If I mispronounced that, I do apologize. He says, hello, Timalyn. I appreciate you creating such a useful video. Could you please comment on the tax outsourcing industry? What requirements must a company meet in order to become a U.S. tax outsourcing provider? So, because that is something, um, you have to go back and look at my videos. This is something that I don't cover often because honestly, I'm not a huge advocate of it. I actually I actually did a video about 3, 4 weeks ago about how outsourcing tax preparation cost me $15,000. And honestly, it was one mistake that cost $15,000. When I go back and I look at the time that it took for me to go back and correct things that were done incorrectly, it definitely cost me more than $15,000. And unfortunately, it's probably going to cost me some more in the future. So I will say this. His question is specifically for becoming a US tax outsourcing provider. The person that I outsourced to was actually US based. Now, for some people, it works very well. I just had a bad experience and it did not work for me. But Pavan, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question just because I don't know what those requirements are. But I do have some people that I'm connected with here on LinkedIn that I know they um, they help partner people that are in the U.S. with overseas U.S. tax providers. So I can connect the two of you if that's something that you're interested in. But I don't know the answer to that question. All right, so Facebook didn't give me anything. I don't have anything else on LinkedIn. I am going to go ahead and hop off. Like I said, I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. And when you catch this on the replay on YouTube, if you are on YouTube, drop down the comments and let me know if you have any other questions or something that you'd like for me to cover. And this is the last video that we're going to have for this year. So I wish you all a happy new year. But I will still be on here next Tuesday and we are going to hit the ground running. I have some really cool topics I'm really excited to share with you guys. And don't forget, if you have not already, go to americasfavoriteea.com because the Tax Relief with Timalyn Bowens podcast is still over there. Thank you guys to each and every one of you that subscribed last year, that shared. I appreciate you guys so much. But also, the different topics that I cover here, there are corresponding blog posts on the America's Favorite EA website. And then there also is the Tax Pros Representation Journey, which is the private podcast and article subscription as well. So, Happy New Year. Don't forget to share this because you never know who you're connected to that may be interested in becoming an enrolled agent. And I will talk to you guys next year.